So if you prepare all your props, your cushion, blanket, and of course most important, the balls. And similar like yesterday, we're going to concentrate mostly on the hips and shoulders. So I don't know about you, I'm still owing as I walk, especially down the stairs. So we're going to start in a nice comfortable sit, maybe just preparing one. And we're just going to work up the arms, shoulders, and then work our way down towards the lower body. So for your blocks, we're going to massage out the hands, down the wrist, forearm, upper arm, shoulder, and then we'll go. So once you're ready, prepare your balls, and then start to massage out your arms and wrists. Let me see. So you're familiar, just go through all the little points, and remember you can grab and then go through the knuckles and both front and back, and then the wrist too, the front and the back. And sometimes you won't notice it, that it feels a bit sore, so adjust accordingly. And then working up towards your forearm here. So again, the space between the two bones, the ulnar and the radius. Up and down. Again, noticing how it feels. So sometimes you may come through like a sore spot. Just making sure the pain is not from the bone itself, but more of the muscles and the plastic tissues in between. And then remember, you can play with your palms, pronate, flex as you go. So as you move the two bones, which is attached to your wrist, it will move and expose more of the underlying connective tissues, the muscles. So, overzealous. So, up and down. And then after you've done the forearm here, we're going to change sides, and then we'll come back up towards the forearm because we need to adjust our position. So changing to the other side might be a good idea. We move. And then at the same time, also notice, anything that's going on with your hands. Notice a bit of a mark, or maybe notice stiffness or something unusual. So this is the time where we sort of slow down really for the weak. Then move down the forearm, and see, this is where you realize there's something different. So I have a little muscle knot on this side. It just goes a little bump. Never knew I can have muscle knots in the arm. So there, I just ran through one little knot. Oh yeah, that's quite a knot there, which is not present on the right. So I wonder why. And maybe notice the release of tension from the arms, the forearm, as you go through this motion here. And then we'll come to our triceps. So we're going to come onto our knees next. So using the balls on the block. So we will maybe just do one side at a time. It's just easier. So you can always have the ball on the block, or if you prefer on the ground. Flat is easy because the ball doesn't move around that much. And then you come to a kneel, and then you're going to bend the elbow and place the palm behind you and place the back of your arm, your tricep, down onto it. And you're going to roll it forward and back. So maybe tugging the toes behind makes it easier. So just going through again, you're going and aiming for the muscles rather than the bone itself. So the length of the back of the arm. So acupressure, massage. So find a nice position that you can sort of roll the balls through. And again, if you find like a little sore spot, just staying steady and holding if that's what you prefer. Or you can continue to move around to release no tension from the entire area. So either looking for a spot to stay or move. So I found a nice yummy spot to stay here. And also remember your breath here, even though maybe I'm not cueing you as much as in the Yang class. Really use your exhale, deepen it into it. And then slowly we're going to release and change to the opposite side. And of course, you're welcome to stay longer one particular side if that one side is feeling that it needs an extra TLC or attention or time. And just making sure no pain, it's just sore and discomfort. So maybe one side feels more sour, so I don't know why my left. So maybe I am leaning on my left side more than my right. So I'm feeling more sensation down this left side, the discovery of a muscle knot. So maybe you're making your own discovery about yourself here. Holding or moving. So it's really up to you here. So we're going to come down onto our belly from the kneeling, and you know where we're going. We're going to work on our shoulders there. So slowly you're going to release, move the props along the way. Prepare your setup. So if you're going to spend some time on the belly, maybe you feel uncomfortable on your belly, the pelvis, you've got a bony pelvis or your knees uncomfortable, then just set up however you want. You can even do this, maybe not in bed, but maybe like a thin cushion mattress on the floor. Make it your own, and then come onto your belly here. So we're going to work onto the shoulders. Again, it can be just a normal stretch with a pillow block. You're going to start with the right arm extend, but if you want to work also on a trigger point compression on that deltoid, you're going to can have the second block with the ball on it. So you're going to position it. Maybe this time, if it feels better, to cactus, or you can keep the arm straight. And then turn to look over to the left here. Maybe this is more than enough. If you feel that you need something stronger, then flip over. I would suggest stack first, because flipping over, the pressure with the ball is like really a lot. You're going to really get down, because here you're going to get to the muscles straight away, especially with the therapy balls. So you can stay exactly where you are. If you want to stay exactly where you are and you want to work on something else, my favorite multitasking, then you can frog it out. So half frog on this side. So sort of external rotate, working into that hip muscle at the same time. You can do that. So take your pick. You can try out and find one that it feels sort of not too comfortable, because we don't want you to fall asleep. This is a yin anyway, so it should be bordering this comfort but not pain. So you must feel that you have to work on something, your breath especially, to stay here. So take your pick. I can't go down too low because I can feel really sore on that shoulder. So really need this release on that shoulder. And then you know where we're going. We're going to go down the quads, which I am complaining a lot. So I don't know about you. They are sore. So we're going to move down eventually, and we'll do the front, and then we'll do the back again, moving up our body. So mainly the shoulders, the back. We'll go through the shoulder blade and the back, the lower back, and then coming to the hips, and then of course the back of the leg. If you're doing the front quads, we will do the hamstring at the back. So wherever you are, come back to your breath. And if you feel at any point you feel really comfortable, amplify. So if you feel like, oh, my half frog, I'm not feeling anything on my shoulders, my connective plastic tissues releasing, and you want to give a little bit more weight, then try to stack. Okay? And then maybe if you're stacking and you don't feel anything, try to flip. So there's always one up. If you feel like it's getting too comfortable, you're not gaining any more from this pose, you can amplify to make it better. Okay? Oh, so I'm feeling plenty of sensation here under the shoulders. We've got about 5 to 8 breaths, again, of course, depending on the speed of your breath. Maybe you're doing the 4-4, some of us can do up to 6-6, or you can lengthen out your exhale. It doesn't have to be equal, especially in Yin. You can always lengthen out your exhale, and your exhale will always help to really slow down, getting you in the position, helping you to lower your blood pressure and also your heart rate. Everything okay? Okay, you're back. So nothing has changed. We're still in this shoulder position here. Just remember, don't get too comfortable. So as I was saying, I'm getting a bit comfortable, so I may be reluctantly moving into the stack so that I can get in to the shoulders. And that's the most I can move. Getting a bit more in towards the shoulders, feeling really sore from the classes this week, working on our scalp. So a couple more breaths here, and then we're going to change sides. And of course, you can always even it out if you feel that your right side is needing a little bit more attention. You can always stagger your time to say maybe you give 60% and 40% to the left. So you can always self-adjust and tailor the practice exactly to your own needs. So we're going to move slowly. You're coming back onto your belly. Lift your weight up from the ball if you're using it. And then just switching sides. The block over to the left. And then position it down right on the deltoid. You can even feel it the moment you moved it. It's really sore. Turn your head over to the right side. And then get settled. Either stack, flip, or you can half frog over on the right. So if that's what you did on that side, maybe do the same thing. Again, tailor it to exactly what you need. Cactus your arm, having it straight. Also adjusting your block. So somehow my neck doesn't feel that great to have it level. So I prefer to have it slightly up. And again, whatever that maybe I've missed and you prefer to do something different, please do, adjusting accordingly. And then find again where you feel comfortable, but not to the side of that you get so comfortable that you drift off, but sort of move in the direction towards the edge where you feel discomfort, just no pain. And then maybe when you started off, the soreness or the sourness feels really tough for you to stay, really dig into your breath here. And after a few breaths, maybe a bit longer, you could feel your plastic tissues releasing, and it gets more easy and you feel more at ease. And of course, you can amplify once you get into the pose. Feeling your muscles releasing. It always takes longer to get the plastic tissues to cooperate rather than the muscles, because the muscles are like a rubber band consistency that you can stretch and release, while plastic tissues are more like the harder, just like the name suggests, plastic. It's less stretchable and more less malleable, so it's going to be more difficult to get them to sort of even stretch out even a bit, and it takes time, and that's where Yin comes in with the longer holds and the Myo Yin to assist to get deeper into them. So we have about 5 more breaths here. Again, if you feel really comfortable, maybe work it into your space to amplify a bit so that you can really work into this area here. And then we're going to move down the front body, so we're going to target the psoas first, which we seldom, so we're going to target that in before moving to the quads, and then come out to the sit for the hips, and then move down the back line of our body here, so you know where we're heading. And it's always easier to navigate when you know where you're going. So feel and notice that maybe you're easing deeper into the pose. Now slowly from wherever you are, you're going to release nice and slow. Notice the rebound, release, or the blood flow back to this area. And then remaining in this position, so we're targeting sort of a bit of yin in the lower back. We're going to come into the psoas, so just sliding the ball, so I'm showing on the left so that you can see from the camera. You're going to slide it so you know where your hip crease is. Move it up where sort of the fleshy bit between sort of your little tummy and the hip crease. That's where we're targeting the psoas. It's going to be sore once you find it. Lean over, so we're going to do one side at a time. And quite quickly, you should feel a bit of soreness coming. So you can always adjust in your fins. So staying up in the fins, pressing down, lifting up higher, you're going to release a bit of sourness. It's not going to be comfy. We're going to really breathe here, and that's where we target that psoas major, actually, not the minor, which is very hard to get to. So as the name suggests, major is the big one. So of course it will be the one that the pressure is going to feel through. It's never going to be comfortable, not for the psoas. I mean, it's rare to hear somebody in this position going, oh, that feels good. It's not going to be the case. So make sure the shoulders doesn't hike up and you go, oh. Try to relax into it as best as you can. And of course, in fins, you can always stretch into the muscles. Say, for example, maybe on this side, you stretch your ear towards the right to stretch on sort of the left side of the body, going the same side. And just breathe here. So sort of noticing in the background that the therapy ball, you're feeling some discomfort, and maybe along the neck it feels nicer, sort of trying to balance it out. And of course, whatever we're doing, lower back too. So if you feel there's too much and your lower back's more sensitive than your psoas, you can always welcome to move the elbows forward, which means more weight on the ball. So again, find the tweak, the compromise in between that works without you going, I need to come out of the pose. Find the balance and breathe. And maybe you feel more into the psoas again, getting through that plastic tissues right at the back. And just breathe here. However hardened or however tempting that you want to come up the pose, it just means that you need this pose more than your head and your body allows you to be. And again here you can adjust your neck if we are at about the halfway point. If you prefer to stretch to the back, you can take the chin down towards your chest and just roll down. Again, making sure shoulders doesn't hide down, that you're in this weird Sphinx pose. Shoulders is still pushed away. You're pushing down the elbow, still lifting up through the upper back so that you're not really putting too much weight on your lower back, especially on that psoas, that therapy ball. You don't want that. So you're still pressing down your forearm, lifting up while taking your chin towards your chest, feeling a nice stretch to the back of your neck. Last 5 breaths here. Almost there. Your psoas will thank you. So again, if your head down, gently lift it up on your inhale, lift up the left side, or you decide to do all the right, and then feel the release here. And then you still got the other side to do. So again, finding the spot between sort of the little tummy and your hip crease, and then slide it sort of the fleshy point here, and then slowly come down, really nice and slow. And again, notice the difference. So I seem to having more sore side on my left. This right side feels slightly better. I'm not comfy, but it's not as sour as the left. So notice the difference on your side. So this one I'm quite puzzled why, on my left. Maybe because of my right knee that I'm putting so much more work on the left side. Could be. So again, you can either stay here, shoulders pushing, forearm pushing down, lifting up, or you can add the left ear to left shoulder, or maybe closer to chin towards the chest. Find a spot here. So I'm having problem on my left side. I'm pinching on the left, so it feels really sore here on my left. So again, finding the spot that you can hold with a gentle expression, a smile, not a wince on your face, as best as you can. And breathe through the discomfort. Maybe you're still feeling a rebound on the left side, which is good, which means you really got deep into the psoas major there. And then of course on your halfway point you can always change again to get your chin down, or just stay exactly where you are if you feel like really getting in towards the right side. Shoulders relax still. Again, like yesterday, there's always little adjusting as your body sort of release in towards the pose. Really microscopic that only you may notice. So sort of little things like really pressing down onto your palms, your forearm, pulling yourself through your chest, through shoulders away from your ears. So always adjusting, because of course knowing your own body, it may get too relaxed and sort of having the shoulders move towards your ears. So you still have to do some work here, even though we're not moving, we're in stillness. There's still some movement within, really subtle movement in your body to adjust. And if you're able to do it in this quiet, we always do it, especially when we're in yang poses, when you're moving. So the more aware and practicing when we're in quiet, which means by the time if you're moving quicker, you are used to always tuning in, listening, adjusting all the time, keeping yourself safe, making full use of the poses rather than you can see when somebody's like just doing the pose versus you really paying attention, adjusting your knee, making sure it's treading over, pulling the knee open, so not of letting it drop in, and it will make a difference in your pose too. So same principle applies whether you're holding in yin or in yang. So we have 3 more breaths here, and then we'll move to our quads. So be prepared to hear my owl coming up after this. So you're going to slowly release. So just lift out the ball from underneath. Just keep it safe on one side as you open up your elbows lower down into Makarasana. Maybe bending the knee in and windshield wiper to release out the tension from the lower back because we were holding in things for quite a while. So moving nice and slow. So even moving here side to side with my thighs pressing on the ground, I can feel my quads. Not screaming yet, but it will soon be. You're going to slowly come back up again in towards sort of a things. You can do it in Makarasana if you have enough excuse me, lower back. You're going to slide the ball. Doesn't matter which side you start. I'm going to show on the left. Lifting up and slide it right under, and you're going to feel this. Oh, you may keep the toes tugged. You can release it down. I can't. You can always use a block to rest your head because just now we didn't have that, you know. So you can always adjust high, low, Makarasana to rest your head on the palm. You can keep it active by pressing on the elbow and shifting. I am not doing any of that because where it is, I'm feeling the soreness. I need it to release at least in that one part. So do as you please. If you feel less sensation, find a muscle, not a sore spot. You can move the thigh laterally, horizontally, side to side, or you can take your body and move it up and down to find a sore spot. I have plenty, so I'm not moving. I found one immediately. So I'm coming down to release my lower back in Makarasana. Maybe resting my head on a block or a cushion if it feels comfortable. And just breathe through. So of course here, big area, 4 muscles. That's why it's called the quadriceps. And you're going to fly probably lots of knots and sore area. So if you prefer to move, please move maybe after, 5 to 10 breaths to move into another spot here. We're not even targeting the inner thigh here. We're just doing the quads for now. And then after that, we'll come up to target the hips, which will probably be sore. Whether you want to target the quads, the external, the maximus, the minimus, and the external one. But plenty of sensation for the quads right now. So we have the other side to do. So 5 more breaths here, and then we'll move over to the opposite side, so it doesn't matter which side you started. And of course, if one spot you want to spend a little bit more time, it's something that you can sort of come back to in your own time. And also something I forgot to mention that maybe you will try on the opposite side is, I know I told you to keep your toes tucked. If you want to torture yourself a bit more, you can always bend the knee in because you're moving the muscles. So from here where you are sort of contracting, you can stretch it. Oh, if you want to try that. Oh, I'm just going to do that one time because at least I said it, I did it, and that's done. I'm going to move it over to the opposite side. Hopefully when I stand up and move, I could feel the difference. But sometimes I think it needs more than that few minutes I gave it. So moving over to the other side, starting a whole new sensation down the opposite side. Again, you can keep the toes tucked, or since I mentioned it late, you can straight away go and bend your knees here if you're brave enough to try it. Come back to lie, get comfortable. At least the upper body, but the lower body, there'll probably be lots of sensation coming. And also just a note to yourself, if it's sore, that's more reason why you need this. Because it's not going to go away easily. So we're just helping it along to sort of soothe it out. Oh, the quads are. So I think we should add more of the camel dips so that we won't suffer that much when we do it once in a blue moon. So we need to do it more often. It's a great way to strengthen out the quad, stretch out your hip flexors. And maybe you've been doing and I'm the only one. So again, sort of a note, if you wish to bend the knee in, sort of getting into a different area of the muscles. Oh, that is just awful. It's not painful, it's just really uncomfortable. So really breathe through it. And then slowly, when it first started, maybe it's uncomfortable, but actually now that if I hold it, it's actually quite nice because I'm stretching into the quad and it's getting into some another area of the thigh. So again, if you don't try, you don't know. So always have the courage to try. Oh, that's breathing nice and deep. Oh, just went through a knot there, which only could be exposed when I bend my knees in. So really trying to get deep. So we have about 3 to 5 breaths again, depending on the speed of your breath. And then we'll come up to sort of releasing towards the lower back and get in towards the hips here. And then we'll come onto our back and work on the back here, the lower back, and the shoulder blades, and all the trigger points along that area. And then hopefully you feel slightly more release and more relaxed. So reluctantly saying goodbye to the quads here. You're going to lift yourself up nice and slow as you transition in towards a sit. So roll over your knees, move the ball into the same place and moving like an old person here, which is anyway what we want, nice and slow. And then you're going to come to a sit in towards a butterfly. So again, the butterfly maybe look more like a diamond depending how the hips feel. You're going to inhale, extend out your spine, and then slowly you're going to fold it in just to release out in towards the lower back. You can always prop a cushion, a block to bring yourself to come down to a height. So again, take it easy on yourself. The hips going to feel it. We're really mightily cold. So maybe get it nice and high. Stack up your cushion. Build your Lego blocks here. So I'm going to use my cushion actually. Hug it in. Give it a lie. Thereabouts. Wow. We're going to come to the hips anyway using the massage ball. So take it easy. First sort of open up to release into the back here and then getting in towards the hip. Maybe still feeling the rebound from the quads here. And then just slowly come to the height that you can stay in. I'm going to be here for about 2 minutes. Just taking your time rather than just going straight to the deep end. It's going to be really So your body will tell you where to stop. So build up your sand castle. And just slowly ease down. So finding the sweet spot where you can stay here, bordering a bit of discomfort. Maybe you could feel in the hips, maybe you can feel in your lower back. And just coming to stillness, being one with your breath. Let your shoulders be away from your ears. Gentle expression on your face. And also notice what are the thoughts that sort of come into the head. Just let it drift past and not linger. Just taking this quiet time to really pay attention to your breath. We've got 5 more breaths here, and then we're going to get in towards the hips proper with the massage balls, the therapy balls. So usually we don't prep for the pose first, so here we're prepping, so we're going to get right into it once we get out of this position with the balls underneath our hip. So again, I'll give you the option for a gentler version, and of course really open up into the hips and getting deeper and really get in between the bones there in towards the plastic tissues. So slowly on your next inhale, you're going to lift up nice and slow. Again, enjoying the rebound as you release here. So we're not going to windshield wiper straight here because we want to get into that feeling here. So a ball. You can either come into the figure 4, so right ankle over left and then slot the ball under. If you want to go even deeper, then you're going to bring the leg down and coming into what's this cradle, the baby, or this way. So that make sure the ball's under so that you can sort of put the extra weight, as opposed to if you are in figure 4. Here it gives you the flexibility of rolling, moving, and then of course finding the sweet spot. Like say for example it's in an awkward spot, like for me here, I'm getting my knee out and then holding. So that's some work for you here, holding the heavy leg. But it just sort of allow that hip to move in a different way to find sort of a place for the ball to slot in. So there I found a really nice space, so I'm staying. Keep your back sort of relaxed, not hunch over with the neck. And just find a place. If you feel like my arm is doing a lot of work, try to slot a cushion, a block under to sort of give some support here. If you happen to be like in the position like me, or you go, hell no, I want to be more relaxed, then go back to the figure 4. This just gives you the leeway to move more than in the figure 4. So every time we did this in class, going, I need to get the therapy ball right there to get to the spot. And again, option to stay still, or giving you sort of like a gentle massage here, leaning forward or moving that hip. So this way, we're moving the femur head. So when you move it, you're exposing a certain area, finding that spot there that feels good. So again, it could be something you don't enjoy, it could be something you feel that works for you. So for me, it works really well because it's going around the plastic tissues that wrap around the femur head. Of course, again, it depends. So if you have a shallower socket, you may get into it. If you've got a deeper one, you may not. But you're just getting right down there in between the bones here, just a bit like when you're coming through between the ulna and the radius. Same thing here. By moving, you're exposing a certain area that you don't usually get access to. So, moving or stillness, up to you. Explore. You can even come into a half happy baby to sort of move it into there. So there's no right or wrong, it's just exploration. Our body differs quite a lot from each other. That a certain position you may find a yummy spot that you go, or you can even do a fire log. So the fire log, take the weight off. So again, you can try and go, that doesn't work. I prefer to stay where I can get in towards this area that I don't usually get to. So it feels, as long as it feels. So remember, it's not comfortable, but it goes discomfort, and when you feel the release, you go, that's nice. That's what we're aiming for. So giving sort of, so almost like a butt massage. And then we'll come down to our back for the last 15 minutes. So once you're ready to release from this side, we're going to go over the other. So feel the release, see if it feels nice and better. It definitely does for me. Again, figure 4, slot the ball under. You can always start there first. So this one I don't usually feel as much as opposed to if I do the cradle the baby. So it's up to you. There's a new option that you can do here to get in towards the hip muscles. So there I found a nice yummy spot. So if you want to stay, to sort of get the release, because if you hold there, the plastic tissue sort of start to soften, and then you'll get right into it. And just remember to breathe. So to some people, this is seen as a torture, but until you try it yourself, there is a release. It's just like people going for massage. So some people prefer a gentle. I'm a heavy stroke person, so I like my deep tissue. But of course, after that, you have blue, blacks, and sore all over. But yet, you feel good. So some people find massage a torture. I think those are the small groups. I don't see how a massage should be a torture. It's nice. So this is the self-massage that we're doing. So after this, we'll come onto our back, and then we'll spend a bit time on the lower back, and then we'll spend the rest of the time on our shoulders. And that will be taking us nicely to Shavasana. Hopefully you feel the muscle feels like less sore and you feel less heavy and lighter. So about 5 more breaths here. Sometimes the practice also depending on your home environment, your room environment, the temperature. So maybe like if you're in Hong Kong and you don't have the aircon on, the room will be boiling. And if you're doing yin, it's almost like a hot yoga, isn't it? You really got your muscles warm. Or if you're in a colder country, where the room is like between 18 to 22, which is much cooler, then of course the yin will be much more effective because you're really starting out cold. So of course little adjustments like this you have to adjust in that sense. So don't forget about that too. And then with that said, we're going to come on to our backs. So slowly releasing. And then if you want, you can windshield wiper just to release out the hips, neutralize whatever that went on, and sort of release into the muscles that just been prodded by the therapy ball. And then come down to lie. And then we're going to slot as usual, targeting the lower back. So it's up to you if you want to do 2 sides at a time, but of course it's much easier to control with 1. So we're going to give time for 1 at a time. So left or right, doesn't matter. Get comfortable. Maybe support your lower back if you wish. Cushion, try it whichever way. And then you're going to just lift up the hip and slot the ball under. Again, missing out your spinal, central spinal column. You can keep the feet down to control, or you can just hold and relax. And if you choose to come into another position, notice the difference if you shift into, say, constructive rest, where the whole back is flattened out, if that's comfortable. If it's not enough, of course, you can keep the hips lifted and you're in sort of a bridge. You can always slide a block underneath to support or the lower back. Again, everybody's body proportion will change what you need to do to get the pose working for you. So for some of us, slotting a block doesn't help. Maybe slotting a block underneath the lower back that way, so that you can sort of rest half of the back on one side of the block, or you can use 2 blocks. Again, it's your own creativity that you can think of a solution that works for you. So say, for example, if you use 2 blocks on the long end and then you slide a block on it, so you're lifting our hips slightly higher, but it means that you can slot a block on the other side to allow the left hip to rest, but still adding the pressure on the right side if that works for you. So I'm trying that as I'm saying, and I think it seems to work for me. So I'm going to hold here rather than move, because I want to be lazy and be more comfortable, but yet still working on that lower back. So the only way you know is to try. If it doesn't work, find another solution, and finding one that works just right for you. So there's no one solution. It's always going to be really individual, a bit like a tax return form. Everybody tax return will be different. So same thing here. I know it's horrible to talk about tax, but that's the best scenario I can give you. Me and my, what is it called? I can't find the word. Brain is half dead because I'm enjoying my lower back. Release. So spend a few moments here, and then we're going to move over to the left side. And just a reminder of a referred sensation that maybe you have a really crunchy lower back like mine, that when you're releasing it, you may feel it going down past the pelvis, down your legs, or moving up. So making sure you notice what is a sort of a good discomfort versus a bad pain. That could be something that you need to see a doctor or a physio about. So whenever you're ready, or you want to spend more time on your worst side or the bad side, if not, you can change over to the opposite side. So if you're like me, using a block, I'm just moving the ball across and just spending some time on the opposite side before we move up towards the shoulders. So maybe one side feels worse than the other. Or maybe give it a chance for the ball to work deeper in towards the deeper tissues, and that's where you feel some more release and relief. And what is good about self-massage is the feedback is instantaneous. You know exactly how you're feeling, and straight away you can adjust to the sort of not a perfect but about right amount to feel best for you, rather than giving instruction to somebody else to adjust. You will never get it quite right. It's easier to get it done yourself. Last 3 breaths here, and then we'll move to the shoulders. So maybe that's your favorite part. Your shoulders always one of the troubled area, and especially we did our shoulder care yesterday, so it would be nice to release some tension from there. So gently you're going to release from the lower back, remove any props that you do need out of the way, and then you know where we're going. We're moving down your angel wing, so along the shoulder blades. So it's up to you where you want to go. Where's the trouble spot, nearer the top, the trapezius, or further in the middle. So you're just going to do one side at a time again. So slot it under, maybe skin to skin may feel better rather than have it on your clothing, which makes sometimes difficult because the clothing may be in the way. It's more difficult to sort of move. And remember that you can play around with your arm, sort of like cactus. You can again pronate, externally rotate the shoulders to really move the shoulders again to expose the deeper tissues, get to the knots, or maybe you don't need any of that and you find one straight away. So work according to your own body, your own needs. Legs can be in Shavasana or still bent in sort of like a bridge pose or constructive rest. And just spend some time on the shoulder, working on the knots, which will be a plenty. Holding or moving. So just working with what the body needs here. Breathing through the knots. Again, refer sensation that may go up through your collarbone or down, even through your lower back. So it's interesting is when you find a knot. So I'm just working on this knot here that is just crickling as I go over it. It's like going over a pothole with your car. Same thing here. So this is only something that you can work on yourself, because even if you go to a masseuse, they're not going to spend time on like one knot. And if that's what you want to do here, please do. So at least you're working on one knot at a time. You're definitely welcome to do it more in your own time that you feel like that knot or that particular area, it's worth spending more time so that you feel some release here. So we have about 1 more minute here, giving you extra time for the shoulders. And then we'll move over to the other side and have a quick short Shavasana to close up our class today. Last 5 breaths here. And of course, you're welcome to stay here if this is, you know, is your problem side with more knots. You don't have to immediately change over to the opposite side. But if you want to, this is the time where we're going to switch over to the left side. And of course, you're welcome to switch over and realize like, hey, this side is not that bad. I can go back to the other side. Please do. It's your practice, it's your body. So just tailor it, make for yourself. Again, playing around, moving with your arm, finding those areas that need extra attention. And also enjoy the sensation when you sort of ride over a knot. Some knots are just gymongous. I've just went through a huge pothole and just riding over it and being able to withstand that sensation. And the light is at the end of the tunnel in this sense. So whatever you're going through, breathe through it. You can even circle out the shoulders. So if there's something, again, I did mention that you want to try. So getting a movement in to really get in towards the deep tissues here. Last 5 breaths. You're going to slowly and reluctantly remove the ball from the shoulders. Place it safely to a side and then extend your legs out long on the mat. Open up your palms, make any last adjustment and movement before coming into just a short moment of quiet. And just taking this opportunity to scan your whole body head to toe. So you probably feel lots of sensation down the shoulders for sure at the moment. Just let the feeling subside. Let your whole body be heavy and come back to your breath. Just taking this few moments to absorb your practice and let it sink in. Now slowly with your inhale, you're going to make your way up back towards the front of the mat where we started our practice, with your eyes still gently closed. Palms on top of your knees, and let's roll your shoulders back. Bringing your palms in towards your chest center. Again, taking this moment to honor yourself, your body, your breath, and your time here on the mat. Not just today, but for the past week. So let's inhale here to take a chant of Om to seal our practice. Inhale. Om. Have a wonderful weekend, and thank you, and I hope to see you next week. Namaste.